Hey you all, also hi to fellow dressmakers. You're welcome to another interesting tutorial. I'm Confidence. In this video, we'll be making this beautiful summer jumpsuit that comes with some beautiful details. First, we have the rope sleeve, and then we have the elastic top which makes it very flexible and comfortable. Then we have the drawstring waistline, and then we have two side pockets on a baggy pants. So if you're interested in learning how to go about the cutting and sewing of this jumpsuit, then kindly watch this video to the end and let's get straight to it. You will need your fabric and then your elastic to make this jumpsuit, and I'm using this small elastic because that's what I have. And then the size of the fabric depends on your height and your size too, but you will need nothing less than 3 yards for this. Now, I folded my fabric using my hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 8 inches. So you're folding your fabric with your hip circumference divided by 4 plus at least 8 inches. Then now, I'll start from the top line and go down to my crotch line, which is my hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 3 inches. Now I'm going to get the pant length, and to make it easy for me, I'll just minus my half length and then go down to my desired jumpsuit length, which is just the whole fabric I have here. Now, on this waistline, I'm going to mark the hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches. My hip circumference divided by 4 plus 4 inches. Then whatever it is I have on that waistline, I'm going to mark it also on this crotch line and connect it straight like this. For the crotch extension, I'm going to divide my hip circumference by 16 and mark it, and then I'm going to just give it this curve that you're looking at here. Then I will measure the whole of what I have here and come down to the length and mark the same thing. The whole of what I have on the crotch line, I'll just mark it on the hem of the pant and then connect it from the crotch extension to that point this way. And we are going to cut this out because it's as simple as ABC. Once you're done cutting it out, you're going to open it up on this side to have two pieces of the front. Then I'll fold another fabric that will be bigger than the front part and place the front part on it this way. Then I'm going to extend the crotch line as you can see me do it and go out from the front part. That's like from the front crotch extension 2 inches. Then on this part 1.5, just so that part won't be too curvy because this is the back obviously. Then I'm going to give you this curve you're seeing here and take it from that crotch extension down this way. The pant is already big, but we can decide to just maintain that 2 inches you have as the crotch extension all the way to the hem of the pant. And right after cutting it out, you are going to work on the pocket. I'm going to just make sure that the waistline are aligning both on the front and back like this. Then I'll start from the top line and go down to 1.5, and from that 1.5 I'll be going down to 7 inches, and that will be the pocket opening. Then I'm going to notch on the two sides like this and keep this aside. Now we are going to be cutting the top part, and after folding my fabric, I will just go ahead and mark out a line which will serve as the sewing allowance. We'll get to that. Then I'm going to place my half length on this line now, and then I'll be minusing where I want it to sit on my chest. Yeah, on my chest. I wanted it to be 6 inches, but I marked 5 inches because of sewing allowance. So by the time I'm done, it's going to be on that 6 inches. Go ahead and do your just minus as much as you want. Then on this line now, which will serve as the top line, I'm going to be marking the same measurement we have on the waistline of the pant here, or better still, your bust circumference divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches or 5 inches. Then on the waistline, you're going to make sure that you have the exact thing you have on the waistline of the pant. Then I'll just go ahead and connect it like this. Now, because of the armhole, the top part is not supposed to be straight. You're going to minus your neckline again, and then you're going down to your armhole line. Then you're going to mark like where you want to fix your sleeve or that rope. Then you're going to add the 5 inches we added as the allowance, and then you curve it from that point to the armhole line. This is one of the ways you can do it. Another way you can do it is once you have this curve here, you can decide to measure what you have from the top line to that armhole line, and then you start from the waistline on this side here, and then you're coming up to that same value. This is the one I'll be using because the other one might be too curvy and might be hard for you to work with it like that with your elastic. I don't know if you understand. But right after cutting it out, I'll use it to cut out another one, and that will be for the back. Once you're done, please indicate the top part of the back, and then you open it up on the center back. Okay, the next thing I'll be doing now is to go ahead and cut out the sleeve. And once I have my desired width, I'm going to fold it like this again. And then I'm going to get the length, my desired length of the pocket, and I'm using, I think, 11 inches. Then I'm going to just give it this curve that you're seeing here. Once that is done, I'm going to cut it out, and I have my 4 pieces that I need for the pocket. Okay, after doing that, now I'll quickly go ahead and cut out the facing. You're simply going to fold this your fabric, and then making sure that the same width you have here now is the same thing you have on the top or on the neckline. I'll be using this one to cut the front and back for the front neckline and then the back. And once I have it, after cutting it out, I'm going to open it up here, and now I have 2 pieces of fabric, one for the front and then one for the back. What I'm going to do is to just place it like this, right side to the right side, then pin it down here, go to my sewing machine and join it with 1/2 inch, because we'll also be joining the top at the end of the day. So you just have to make it one piece. Now I'm going to bring the pant back, then I'm going to just, this is the front here, I'll go ahead and join it on the crotch area. Then after joining, I'm going to open it up like this, then bring in the pocket, 2 for this front part, and then the other 2 will be for the back. Now I'm going to place this one exactly where I have my notch, and then I'll join it like this, then place this other one on this side. I'll place it starting from the notch I have on the pant, I'll pin it down, then join it here. So you're only joining the crotch area, and then you're stitching the 2 pockets down. After doing that, this is what it's looking like. I already closed the crotch area, and then I stitched down the pockets, and I repeated the same thing on the back too. Next, I'm going to place them right side to the right side, as you can see it here. And then once I'm done doing that, just pin it all the way down, just to like secure the 2. And then we will be sewing like this, just as you can see me mark it here. That's how you're going to sew it. And yeah, once you're done marking it, if you marked it, you're sewing like this around the pocket, and then you're coming out here again, and then you sew it down. Repeat the same thing on the other side. And after doing that, one of the things I like to do is to notch. You see this corner point, I just notch it so that it will be easy to iron it, like so that it will be smooth after ironing it. Even if you're weaving this, I feel like it will be easier for you to work with it that way. We still have the inseam of the pants open. We'll be needing it later. For now, I'll keep it aside, then bring in the top part. And then what I'm going to do is to just place them right side to the right side. I indicated the top part of the back here, so you're going to just use that as a guide, and then you place it right side to the right side, pin it down. And after pinning it on both sides, I'm going to go to my sewing machine and then close it with my 1/2 inch like this. Once that is done, this is what it's looking like. This is the down part, like the waistline. And this other part here is the top part, which is where we'll be working on now. I'm going to bring back that piece of fabric that I said I'll be using for facing, and after joining it, it's already a single piece of fabric. I'm going to match it up right side to the right side like this, and then I'm going to sew it, just join it with 1/2 inch. After doing that, I'm going to top stitch on that facing, then I'm going to just flip it inside and create my casing for the elastic. The kind of elastic you're using depends on the kind of casing you're creating here. And this is what I have after creating the casing. I have 3 of that. If you feel like this is too much, you can just create 2 casing, depending on what you want anyway. Then to cut the elastic, you're going to be using your hip circumference divided by 2 plus extra 2 inches. That is so it can pass freely on your hip area and still be free on your chest area, so that it's not supposed to be too loose and not supposed to be too tight there. So just use your hip circumference divided by 2 plus extra 2, or you just leave it at just your hip circumference divided by 2. It will still work. Now I'm going to just use my safety pin and pass the elastic on the first casing, and before the elastic goes all in, I'm going to just secure it on that end with my pin, just so yeah, just something like this. Once before it goes all in, you're going to hold it down with your pin like this, and then you continue passing the elastic. Once you're done, you're going to repeat the same thing on the second casing. And once I'm done passing the elastic in all the casing that I created, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and stitch them down on both sides just to hold the casing, yeah, the elastic down. And this is what it's looking like after I was done. The next thing we'll be doing now is to fix the sleeve or the rope sleeve. And to do that, I'll first indicate the side seam where I have my joining, yeah. So you're supposed to be doing this on the wrong side of this. That's like where your facing is visible. So I'm going to indicate the side seam like this, and once I have it, I'm now going to start from that side seam. I'll stretch it and then go in 6 inches from this side seam. Do you understand? You're going to stretch it. If you need someone to help you, please do that. You're going to stretch it, and then you're going to go in 6 inches, and then you're also going to start from that side seam and go in 6 inches on the front part. You repeat the same thing on this other side. You stretch it, and then from that side seam that you indicated, you're going to go in 6 inches and then 6 inches on the other side. And once you have it, you're now going to start from that point and fix the ropes. This is more like a band than a rope. Mine is wider because that's how I want it, but it's not as long as it's supposed to be. So just make sure that you're making this as long as possible. It's supposed to be, after tying it, it will still be like your whole sleeve length. So just know that that's how long you're supposed to be making it. Then you're going to place this starting from that 6 inches that you marked. That's where you're going to start placing this. Once you're done, you're going to pin it down, and then you're going to stretch it and sew it down. You're sewing this following the first stitch that you have on the top. After that, you close the center back, and right after doing that, this is what it's looking like. I already stitched down the um ropes or the sleeves, the four of them on the first side that I created, and close the center back. Now you're going to get the midpoint of the waistline of the front of this top here. Then the joining we have on the center back will be the midpoint of the back. Now I'm going to match it up midpoint to the midpoint. This is the front here, and then I'll pin it down. Then after pinning it down, I'll go to the next joining, match it up and pin it down. Go to the other joining, match it up and pin it down. Then to the last joining, I'll match it up and pin it down. And once you're done doing that, you're now going to go over to your sewing machine and join it with your 1/2 inch, or yeah. But what I did was to do this. You see what I just shared or showed you? I did that in a way that after joining, this joining is now on the right side of my fabric. I don't know if you understand. I like to do it that way, but at least I showed you how you can do it if you don't want to do it this way. But once I'm going to have a drawstring on the waistline, I like to do mine this way. The joining will be visible on the right side. Then after that, I will trim off the excess allowance I have there. And now we are going to be creating the casing for the rope that will be on the waistline. That's like the drawstring casing. And to do that, you're going to get the midpoint of the front. Yeah, this is going to be on the front here. And then you're going to bring in your rope. First, you're folding it like this, and then you can decide to sew from the down and top stitch to the top. Or better still, you sew from the top, and then you top stitch on the down. But since I have enough, I'm going to just fold it into two like this, and then I'll be sewing from the top. Before that, you're going to go in 1 inch on both sides. This is the midpoint here. You're going in 1 inch here and 1 inch here. That's where you're going to be starting the casing and stopping. Do you understand? But then I like to do this like sew from the top and top stitch on the down. So I'm going to flip it like this, and then I'm going to just place it like this, go over to my sewing machine and join it with about 1/2 inch all around. And after that, I'll top stitch. That's the essence of us leaving the inseam of the pant open so that it's easy for you to work with it now. And whatever casing you're creating, make sure that it is enough for your rope to pass through easily and for you to drawstring the waist easily. Okay, once I was done doing that, I used my safety pin to pass the rope, and this is what it's looking like. The next thing you can do now is to decide to fold in the hem of the pant first before you go ahead and close the inseam of the pant, or better still, you go ahead and close the inseam of the pant first before you now hem the down part of your jumpsuit. And once you're done doing that, you're going to give it the final press. I didn't iron this from start to finish, so I'll just go ahead now and give it a very good press, and this jumpsuit is ready. And that's basically it for this particular tutorial. I hope you found it very helpful. If you did, let me know in the comment, and I'll be seeing you on my next one. Be good. Bye.